Hey unicorns, welcome and welcome back to the channel. My name is Chrissie. Welcome back to the Purple Library and to the start of a new vlog. I had a bit of a reading challenge. Mr. Librarian is an exquisite wrapper of gifts. And when I say exquisite, exhibit A, exquisite. And it's something that he gets a lot of joy from. And I said, you know what? I want to be the benefactor of more of this wrapping, huh? And I've seen a few other booktubers around doing something similar to this. And I thought, wow, wouldn't that be great if Mr. Librarian wrapped? He has curated all 8 of these books. And I let him know, I'm gonna read you. Pointed him to the shelf that I wanted to get books from. And other than that, I have no idea what these books are. I don't know if there's a theme that he has to them, if there's a certain color, but the goal is to read them all and to see, did he pick a 5-star book for me? I actually need to get started right away because I don't have a lot of time, so I might have to double up a couple months. I have read The Lobster Chronicles. The Lobster Chronicles ended up being one of the books from my yearly TBR. Evidently, girl, we had 2 copies. I don't even know. He loved the book, so he had 2 copies. I had a copy, and evidently one of the copies is here. So we're gonna say it's 7 books as of right now. I don't know. I'm gonna mix these up real quick. So I'm gonna see which one I wanna pick. This is, girl, get it together. Hey, it's a poor planning, but you know, I'm a professional. I know what I'm doing. So this is the book, and he did such a great job. So I can't figure out what they are by size or width alone. Can we just acknowledge how tight this is wrapped? And I'm sorry, y'all. I know everybody's like, ooh.
So you gotta open it slow and, you know, with the corn.
Oh my God, no, he didn't. Did he double wrap it? Oh, he wrapped it in more paper? Sir. Okay, all right, here we go. We're gonna see what this is. Ooh, am I gonna like it, y'all? Am I gonna like it? Oh, okay. The Burning Page. What number is this? This is a part of a series, and this is book 3. So I guess I have to read book 1 and 2 before I can read book 3. So this is gonna be a bit of a challenge, more than I thought. But I heard that this was really good. So I guess I'm gonna have to read The Invisible Library. So inadvertently, Mr. Librarian is causing me to finish a series by reading 1 book. I wonder for every book, if I'm gonna finish 18 series, it's possible. Well, challenge accepted. I need to read 2 books to complete this. And so I guess I gotta get to reading. So I have to take a couple more steps. Hold on. I've been doing some reading. Lobster Chronicles was the first one that I opened. And actually, since I already read it, and I opened another copy because we got a lot of Greenlaw books in this house. If they're like Easter eggs, they're hitting everywhere. But overall, I really enjoyed this. I gave this 4 stars. I really enjoyed Linda Greenlaw's story and her journey as a longshoreman and then a lobster boat captain, especially her interactions with the people on the small island that she is from. That was the best part of this book. Like the different characters, the different types of people, and the mentality, how close-knit the community is. And it just really made me feel like, wow, I hope she got her happily ever after. She still was so optimistic and hopeful, even dealing with a lot of the things that she went through in her life. And I really loved her writing style. It was very engaging. There was not a lot of fluff to it, but there was just a beautiful, lighthearted, authentic quality to her writing. It just pulled you right in, and you were right there in the small island with everybody. I said, well, what happened to the lighthouse? And then what happened with the lady? Why is she hustling like y'all on the corner? You know, fortunately, this was a book on my 2025 TBR, so check. So the next book that I rolled was book 3 in the Invisible Library series. We gotta read book 1. Book 1. Let's start here. Yeah, I'm gonna DNF this. I should have listened because Tammy, she's like, girl, based on where your reading is right now, I don't know if you're gonna like it. And I was like,
No, it'll be fine. I didn't get my discernment didn't kick off.
well, it wasn't a matter of discernment, just a matter of taste. The undertone I picked up here, it kind of reminded me of like Veronica Speedwell. I don't want to say lustful, but in a way it's a very innuendo type. Felt that undercurrent reading this. So I wouldn't say it was necessarily a conviction thing about this book. I'm bored. I don't know if I'm just not there with this. Maybe this is the right time. So I think I'm just going to graciously unhaul this and move on to the next one. But Tammy was right. It's a wonderful thing when your friends know you're going to like a book before you do. So we're going to go ahead and DNF this one and unhaul the series. So, and I only read 25 pages and I was like, no. The Hungry Ocean by Linda Greenlaw. How many Linda Greenlaw books I got in this house? He snuck some in on me, and I don't know how he did it. I don't recall. However, I really did enjoy the Lobster Chronicles. So I really liked her writing style. So I think this is gonna definitely fill in some of those blanks about, but this seems to be about the deep ocean, the offshore fishing, the sword boat. It says a beautiful book, a story of triumph of a woman not only making it, but succeeding at the highest level in one of the most male-dominated and most dangerous professions. Feel like it's going to be exciting. It's going to be very insightful. Thoughts to come. Halfway through The Hungry Ocean, and I'm surprised. Linda got me out here fascinated. She is just such a fascinating, insightful person. Like her life, her grit, the fact that she's a fisherman and that she's a captain does not negate from her femininity. Neither does she like try to be overly masculine. Like she is still very much a woman in a male-dominated industry, and I resonated with that so deeply. In my career, very early on, I was in a very male-dominated industry. I identify so deeply with being able to be respected for your skill set, considered a leader within that in a male-dominated industry. Just really appreciate that. She's sharing a riveting story about her 30 days out at sea. I mean, is Linda about to get a 5-star from me? Even though there's like nautical descriptions and shipboard terminology and fisherman terminology, you don't really get lost in that. Like she kind of explains that, and there's a reason why she's sharing that level of detail. And then talking about it with Mr. Librarian, he read this story almost like 30 years ago. I see why he loved this type of storytelling. I'm sure there's many more Linda Greenlaw books in this house, and I'm gonna find them and I'm probably gonna read them. So far, it's just been an amazing journey. Guess who's big? 5 stars. I really enjoyed this book. My sentiments were definitely right on par from the last time I had a check-in with this. Although this is not for everybody, it's definitely for the nautical seafaring mind, for the tradesman in mind, for the skilled laborer. And as for me, being a tradesman, I really appreciated her sentiment. I resonated with her experiences. I resonated with what it means to be in a very labor, skill-intensive industry and be a leader, but not forego integrity, your dignity, or your femininity. I love that portrayal. Really liked her writing to her. And I'm so glad this lived up to my expectations because I wanted to get more of who she was. Pieces of that in Lobster Chronicles, but in this one, you really can lean into who she is, all of the situations that she navigated through. Not for everybody, but I absolutely see why Mr. Librarian loved this story, why Linda Greenlaw is one of his favorite authors, and the fact that he read it when he was about 15 or 16 years old definitely shows the kind of career that he wanted to start for himself. My husband is a skilled tradesman as well, a welder in his field, and I'm not a welder, y'all. I had a different skill. I have so much respect for Linda Greenlaw. There was some content for some language because, you know, they fishermen, honey. They crafts. They say things. And a description of a racially driven situation that she had to navigate through as a captain. So there were some racial slurs, but how she navigated that was just amazing. Any of that sounds up your alley, or, you know, if you have a friend who loves nautical memoirs, I think this is a fantastic memoir to check out. We're doing pretty good. So far, 2 out of 3. The third book, The Man in the Brown Suit. I'm sorry, y'all, I ain't had no unwrapping, but here we are. I have the audiobook, so I'm looking forward to reading this. And Betting Phil witnesses an accidental death in the London tube station and notes the bizarre behavior of a man in a brown suit who flees the scene. She becomes convinced that foul play is at work. A woman is found murdered the next day, and the police show no interest in Anne's theory. Spurred by a cryptic note dropped by the man in brown, Anne impulsively uses all her savings to book passage on a ship heading to Cape Town. On the voyage, she finds herself at the center of a high-stakes game involving stolen diamonds, high society, a mysterious, attractive young man, there's a man, and a master criminal and his double-crossing minions. This actually sounds like an adventure of a lifetime. This is going to be very interesting for me, and I feel like I really might enjoy this. Hello again. I don't care who the man is in the brown suit. This is kind of astonishing for me because I really enjoy Agatha Christie mysteries. And this one, I don't know if it's just too long, if my protagonist who is solving this mystery is just too... I am so bored. I never thought I would say that about an Agatha Christie book, but I was gonna try to just push through it for the sake of Agatha Christie, but we're not doing it. We're in a new season. We're in a new era. I'm gonna DNF this book at 115 pages. Book 4 was a bust. Oop, what do you do? Oh my God, no, he did it. Okay, now we can address the elephant in the room. Book 5, Tuscaloosa, Ted Dekker. This was one of the first recommendations I gave on the channel. Perfect opportunity to reread. I read it, I'm not gonna do that. So I'm gonna be up for the challenge. Do y'all remember the bargain price section? Do y'all remember the days where they actually have fantastic books in that section? You know, I'm actually kind of excited. This is the second book, the first book being, let's see if I can find the first book, Forbidden. Go ahead and venture into this and see where we land. In order to get here, we must first start here. Don't even look over there. This is the war room. Listen, there's a lot happening right now in the library, and we thank the Lord for it. I am really loving this. 15% of the way through this, oh my stars. I remember why I love this so much. It just takes off. The dystopian near future genetic modification, humanity is not human anymore kind of thing. When I first read it, I was just happy to read something that was, you know, Christian fantasy. At the time, I really didn't realize it was Christian fantasy. Definitely for the adult. There are some adult situations and themes, not necessarily sexual content, imply human-based behavior. Shows like how sin really depraves the human mind. It is a bit grimly dark. Audiobook is fantastic. Let the journey continue. Quite a bit of time. I just finished reading Forbidden. It literally was amazing. 5 stars. It really is on the deep dive end of Christian fantasy. The New Testament Christian allegory. Good. It's exciting. It's fast-paced. Nobody is safe. I could not put this book down. So I will be reading this book stat. I need to know. Hey. So let's talk, let's check in. I finished it. I had a good time with this. My reading has been kind of slow over the past month or two, but it's okay. When I first read it, I believe I gave it 5 stars. But upon finishing it now, it's definitely going to be a 4-star read for me. The plot definitely moved forward. There were a lot of moving parts to the story. Definitely had a bit of that middle book syndrome. Although there was a lot that was happening that kept me engaged, there was quite a few twists and turns as well. Allegorically, it sets up the Pharisees and the disciples of Christ symbolically, I would say. I wouldn't necessarily, maybe allegory might be a stretch, but maybe symbolically. Very like post-apocalyptic, wild story, and it is a wild ride. I'm so glad that I read it, and of course I've got to read the third one because I need to know what happens. Not quite a 5-star read for me, but it's kind of hard for books to get 5 stars read for me now. Yeah, so I think this, ooh, look at my tabs. I had my little tabs going here. I'm really happy about this one. I was wondering where this book went. Well, here it is. It was sitting on the table the whole time, child. So I'm super excited. I've been meaning to read this book. Pages & Co. The Book Wanderers. This is book 1 in this series, enchanting story about the magic of books and the power of imagination. This actually reminds me of Book Jumper that I read earlier this year. Similar trope. I'm going to go ahead and get the audiobook for it because I think it's going to be fantastic. So I will be back with updates and or my final thoughts of the book, because in these days and times, honey, I don't know when I'll be back and how the vlogs is going to be set up. I'm so glad I didn't lose this book. I literally flew through this book, y'all, and then I was zippity doo. I read it in reading sprints. Enjoyed it so much. It was the fresh read that I needed after a DNF. I really enjoyed this book, following Tilly and this magical bookshop and the adventure and lineage. Of course, I heard some very interesting things about it as the series continues. There's some questionable characters. I gave this a 4 stars. We're averaging fairly good books right now. Like, only book 1 that he picked. We had to have known. There's so much I gotta unpack with him. Oh yeah, I read it already. When? I figured. So it's only 2. Only 2 left. Look at this one, babe. Oh Lord, this better be a big bag. I want. Oh my God, how many do I gotta read? I gotta read 4 or 5. Oh, he got me. He knew what he was doing. Let's see, is this a Jesus book? I'm going to get him. Seriously, Eric D. But bro, I had some fictional Linda Greenlaw books. Linda Greenlaw's books are great, but I'm a little Linda Greenlaw'd out. Yeah, I had to go get me a cup of coffee after opening up these last books. I feel like he set me up. This was a setup to read his favorite author. I absolutely would have probably done the same thing. I have really enjoyed the Linda Greenlaw books that I've read. 4 stars, 5 stars. I thought I had my feel. Evidently, my cup needs to run over. But fortunately, it's not long. I really enjoy her writing style. I really enjoy hearing her stories. She's gonna be my most read author this year. Should I just roll through and just read them too? So I can say I read all the Linda Greenlaw in my house? Wide window. So I had a suspicion because of how tall this is. When I read the first one, The Reptile Room, I don't even know if I said anything to y'all about that one of the books would be the series of unfortunate events. And based on Eric D's track record, I said I need to get ahead of the game. I read the first 3 in the series. I was right. One of the books was The Wide Window. Possibility that I hadn't read any at all. He's really trying to get me to finish some series. I can't really be mad at him. The Vile Village, which is book 7. So I've got to get reading. So that stage in the game, I might as well just finish the series. Now it's getting real. I thought I was trying to get ahead of it. Book 3, obviously I want to finish the trilogy for this. So this is The Silver Lining. Hey, finished a couple of books. I have read all of Linda Greenlaw's nonfiction books now. Congratulations! But for the grace of God, because Deke, this was really fun to read. It was more of an anecdotal read rather than, exploring her thoughts, her sentiments about her life. Connected to those books a lot better, especially The Hungry Ocean. 3.5 stars. So I rounded it down to 3 stars. You're into maritime, fisherman's tales, old man malarkey. I think you're gonna have a good time with this. Crassness and fishermen, real rough around the edges, all right? So their jokes are very crass. So just keep that in mind. Mission accomplished. The Miserable Mill. I read ahead, so I thank God I did. This one gave me so much secondhand anxiety. What is going to happen to these children? Why are they at the mill? I need Mr. Poe to get it together because he ain't looking out for these kids. Like, what make you think that they need to be at a mill? Somebody need to go and yoke Mr. Poe up. Giving a mad side eye to Mr. Poe. Ended up giving it 3 stars. I got to read up through book 7 because that's a part of the challenge. So 5, 6, and 7, here we go. Probably gonna have to take a break because it is very sober sobering. You know, he tells you up front, don't be thinking this is going to be a good time for these. So much has happened with this challenge. The Vile Village. I really have enjoyed this series. I think the book that really turned the page for me was book 5. And at that point, it ceased to be repetitive for me. So much empathy for the Balderi children and their plight. In a way, it's inspirational because these kids are overcoming and they are using everything that they have and their bond with each other to just persevere. That in of itself is so inspiring. After I read book 4, The Miserable Mill, I was locked in. Although that one I gave a bit of a lower rating, I think every book after that I gave 4 stars because I have thoroughly enjoyed, especially The Vile Village, which was so interesting because we've been with these kids for months on page now, right? I'm trying to figure out, is anybody gonna check Mr. Poe? Because Mr. Poe seems to be the undercover villain. Well, I know Count Olaf is the problem and his contingent of folk, but Poe is the problem. These kids need security. But this series has me to chokehold. I went and got the rest of the books from my library because I needed to know. I'm giving 4 stars. I had a great time with this. Village that is just so on the surface seems to be very fair-minded, rule-following veneer, but a mob mentality. You're seeing the kids navigate these different social dynamics in these different types of societies and environments, seeing how they're navigating people that want to help them, but somehow they seem to be compromised as well. The bravery of these children. As a reader, you're holding on alongside the kids, hoping that it doesn't get ruined. Ended up finishing book 8, even though that's not a part of the challenge. The Hostile Hospital, one of my favorites as well, because now the tide is turning in a very unique way, and I'm really proud of the kids for it. I'm in the middle of reading The Carnivorous Carnival. Plan on finishing the series. I still need to read Sovereign by Ted Decker. This is a final book. These are kind of my goals and expectations. We can aspire to them, but there's no pressure if it doesn't happen. Technically, the challenge is finished. Because unicorns, end of the wrapped reading challenge. This challenge was just out of bounds. It was truly a challenge. So before I get into like my overall sentiments, let's do a quick recap. And I know I said 7 earlier. Y'all know my math don't be mathing all the time. Out of the 10 books that Mr. Librarian curated, I DNF'd 2 books, Man in the Brown Suit and The Burning Page, which is book 3 in this series. But I ended up DNFing the first book. Therefore, this book got DNF'd as well, honey, because we quite a few 3-star reads, which is very interesting. Book 3 in the series of Unfortunate Event, The Wide Window, followed by The Miserable Mill. Also, All Fishermen Are Liars. These were good books. Miserable Mill definitely turned the tide for me. 4 stars. The Vile Village, Book Wanderers was a 4-star. Book 2 in the Book of Mortals series. Also, The Lobster Chronicles by Linda Greenlaw. You just getting here, Linda Greenlaw. Linda's just... There was only one book that got a 5-star rating for me. That makes sense where I am in my reading right now. You got to hit that Hob verse when you get in the 5-star range now. You know, it's just The Hungry Ocean was the only 5-star book. Our beloved Linda Greenlaw. So overall, I think it was very balanced. Most of the books fell between the 3 and 4-star range, although I enjoyed all of the books that I read. I'm really glad I read Linda Greenlaw. Books that led to other books. I finished the series of Unfortunate Events. This is book 13, The End, and I ended up giving it 5 stars. This series actually is a 5-star series for me. There was a handful of books that got 3 stars, as I mentioned earlier, but majority of the books got 4 stars, and there were 2 or 3 that actually got a 5-star rating for me, including book 13. I was just so enamored with the Balderi children, their plight, their journey. Truly a wonderful, fantastic series. And I really didn't think how Lemony was going to pull this off. There's just so many nuggets. Granted, it did give me some secondhand anxiety. I was like, you ain't got to stay out there. Come stay with me. A range of emotions. Incredibly witty. Standout character has to be Sunny. I loved watching Sunny grow up. The kids are just great. And last but not least, Sovereign by Tosca Lee and Ted Decker, the book 3 in the Book of Mortals series. Technically, am not done as of filming. Based on how my schedule is set up, I need to get these things done. 90% of the way through. This is a reread. A lot of it I don't remember, so it's kind of like reading it all over again. I'm gonna give this a 4-star. I think the series still holds up. Gave book 1 5 stars, and I gave book 2 4 stars, and book 3 4 stars as well. I talked about a few of the books that that are in this challenge and books that are around this challenge as well. So I will link the vlogs in the description down below so you can kind of see where my thoughts were in more detail for some of these books if you need more additional thoughts. Overall, this challenge really was a great time. I am so glad that I asked Mr. Librarian to help me with this. A couple things I learned, honey. Don't be haughty in your speech, because when he picked the books, I thought I was just gonna zip through them. I was bought all the way down to the ground. What is today's day? November. Your girl is just finishing them. I decided to pre-read as well because I figured the series of unfortunate events would be in the challenge, and I couldn't remember. For all I knew, I had book 12 and I had to read 11 books to get to book 12. Although that was challenging, I accomplished so many of my reading goals. I was to read more Linda Greenlaw, check. To read more middle grade, check. To read some Christian fantasy, check. I am super surprised by that. Special thank you to my husband, my best friend, the producer. Thank you, honey, for the challenge. You know me very, very well. So shout out to Mr. Librarian. Make sure when you do a challenge, leave the word challenge out because he really emphasized the challenge part. But hey, it's what I needed. It helped me to stay focused. Mr. Librarian and I will be discussing the wrapped reading challenge in the live stream chat November 14th. So you don't want to miss it. If you want to hear his side of the story, how he decided to pick the books, his process, and his overall sentiment seeing me read these books, you might want to check out that live stream. We'll be live chatting on that topic and other bookish topics as well. So we hope to see you there. This is a great challenge in general. Just wrap them books up and see if you can get them all done by the end of the year. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. Let me know if you read any of these books and what your sentiments are for reading challenges in general. May the Lord bless and keep you, his face to shine upon you, to give you hope and peace for the days and the times ahead. Thank you so much for watching, and thank you so much for being here, and I'll see y'all in the live. Bye.